You had mentioned, or down here, that you had a game plan, and there were 8 to 9 firemen that was possibly going to be hired, and that we had money throughout. So I guess, I don't know if you can answer that, or I guess maybe through the president to the auditor, is that was the last 30 days that were we financially solvent that we could have entertained this as a possible solution?
Through you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I started having discussions with Joe probably about May, and I told him that I thought I could put enough money together to hire the 8 for this year. At that time, the income tax revenues were 5% above last year. That's changed a little bit. We're about 1% higher than last year. I told him that it would take some doing, but I thought I could put it together. The issue, of course, will be next year and whether or not the temporary income tax will be renewed. So now there's some holes to fill in the budget, mainly overtime, and there's a issue of a bonus in their contract that apparently was not appropriated. That's about $102,000. That's for a confined space bonus, so we have to add money for that. And then there's the issue of gasoline for various departments. I could probably still try to make it work, but then again, the issue is, next year.
Okay. And just to Joe, I guess I can say I hope that you reconsider being fire chief. I think mayors come and go, council people come and go, but I think dedicated employees stay around.
I appreciate that,
I second it.
but I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to real quick. There was a fireman many moons ago. When he retired a bitter man. And I don't want to be like that. My father's in the audience, and he still pines for the days to ride on the back of a pump. He still gets chill and hears a sign. He loves to talk to job with me. I don't want to leave this city when it's time for me to go fishing or go do something with my grandkids and be bitter and be ticked off about what could be. And I didn't see it happen. So I'd rather just chuckle with the guys, do my job, and be a leader where I can affect it, rather than spin my wheels and drop dead at my desk of a heart attack from the stress.
Through you, Mr. President. Were you part of the decision to hire the 5 firefighters and reschedule a new audit meeting?
We met today. My wife had some health issues when they called last week. Wasn't in the office when they told me that they were going to hire. And then this morning I met with the director and we started phone calls to bring in 5 people.
I guess I'm curious why it took the resignation of the interim fire chief to make the decision to hire 5. And I know we were talking about 8 or 9 over the last couple of council meetings. And obviously the financial position may have changed somewhat. I was speaking with the service director earlier last week, and there was concern over timing with the renewal. But why did it take the resignation of the interim fire chief to decide to hire 5 firefighters now and go forward with the audit? I thought they were making progress also.
Could you respond to that,
Mr. President? The bad action and others were a clear sign to me that negotiations were off and that the discussion was not a resolution was not forthcoming. So we recognize that we need to do some hiring for months now. The question was how many, whether it was going to be to support the 14 main staff where we're at, or whether it was going to support a higher number that was going to have any other components included with that. Chief Pronesti rattled off a number of components that were on the table for discussion. One, the big one that went with all of that was also to agree to a cap to the overtime. And that's how we were going to propose to have any chance whatsoever of financially accommodating all the number of things that Chief Pronesti outlined. It was agreeing, I've been preached for 8 years I've been in office plus by leadership within the department, hire people and the overtime will go away. So that was part of the package. We would agree to bump up the rates, but they would have to agree to a cap of the overtime along the way, which
I'd like to say I never disagree with caps we open.
Excuse me, I'll finish my sentence here. The 5 that we were hiring was to accommodate 14 of them staffing where we're at, and that's where we left off in April. We spent hundreds and hundreds of hours this summer discussing more middle ground, which we talked about at the last council meeting, and we're unable to, we discovered on both sides of the equation, discovered a number of things that will be helpful as we move forward with the management study, and that's the place where we believe we need to be, is to move forward on the management study that you and council members asked us to do, and that's where we're at. And that we'll use the management study as a tool to determine what other adjustments will take place.
Chief Pronesti, do you want to?
Yeah, pardon me, I'm sorry. The 175 was the number we negotiated or talked about with a cap.
175.
175,000. Hello, I'm new. I'm a new fire chief. I'm a new manager. I said, let's give it a shot. I have no idea that it was going to work or not work. Hell, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But my goal was, let's give it a shot. And I suggested that until I was blue in the face. And that's all. And that's why I think I got so upset. Just give me a shot. I think I've proven I could probably steer a ship. Hell, I don't know. But I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah, Mrs. Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. President, through you. Mr. Pronesti, I sincerely hope you will reconsider. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I think you have shown leadership and you've really stepped up. But I guess my question is, and I just simply don't understand, this council called for an independent audit some time ago, and I just, why didn't that happen? I mean, I understand that there was an audit committee, but that is not what this council called for. We called for an independent audit, and I'd like to know why that is not going forward.
Amen.
Mr. President,
Well, let me, you can respond and then you follow the minute.
I'll say again, the scope of the management study was extremely wide in scope, and the wider that scope, the more costly and involved that would be. Early in May, it appeared that there was an opportunity to narrow that scope by coming to terms and common ground, and ultimately it did not materialize. So that's why, because of that, we're intent that we are moving forward on that study. There's nothing, the council saying, never mind, it's going to keep us from going forward with this. Our intention is to have this meeting scheduled for Thursday, after tomorrow, and probably advertise for bids shortly thereafter.
Chief?
he's definitely right. He's right on the money. We expended a lot of hours between us on, I guess we'll call it a deal. And at that time, we both had a mutual agreement that, you know what, let's keep working on this, because what it was going to attain was 4 fire stations. 16-man minimum staffing, or 16 personnel minimum staffing. And that would give me a good footing to try to see what we got and where to go. So I'm jumping all over that. I told him, well, let's see what this does, and then we'll look at the audit and see. Because we could save ourselves a ton of money in what we want to look at. And some of the things I wanted to look at is, okay, we have 4 fire stations, but maybe we need to move one. The audit would tell us that. Maybe we need to have an ambulance service in the city of Elyria that says Elyria Fire Department on it. We can make money doing that. But I want this audit to tell me, because I beat my head against the wall coming up here and telling you I want ambulances. Let's have an outsider come in and say. And I wanted to see if we knew how to fight fires the right way in the Elyria Fire Department. I wanted somebody else to tell us if we were doing a good job. I wanted somebody critiquing me, because I don't have all the answers. So we could have knocked out those 3 things and cut out a lot of the bull if we had agreed to this. No, I don't think so. I think we got to go with the full thing.
Full audit.
Full audit. But we would have had probably a more successful and mutually agreed upon audit if we would have moved ahead and done this plan.